Retailers have been on the skids recently. Retailers like Finish Line, Footstar, Venator, which operates the Foot Locker chain, have seen their stock price drop under pricing pressures, weak Asian demand, competition from the brown shoe market. Just for Feet also feeling the crunch. Company operates 140 superstores, over 100 specialty stores around the country, 4,500 different kinds of athletic shoes. Shares finished the week at 15 and change, low end of the 52-week range of 11 to 29. So, what's ahead for the company? Can the sneaker industry rebound? Here to talk about his business, Just for Feet CEO Harold Ruttenberg. Good morning, Mr. Ruttenberg. Good to see you again.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Nice to be back.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay, great.
Yes, I can.
In the introduction, we brought up this issue of your competitors hurting, and that raises an interesting issue. Venator is cutting prices. Are you on the verge of some kind of price war that's going to impact you and everybody else in this business?
Mark, I don't believe so. I went to take a look at the Foot Locker stores in a couple of malls the last 2 weekends, and they are doing exactly the same thing that I've seen them doing for the last 2 years. As a matter of fact, they've been on sale with Adidas product. Is supposed to be 25% off on Adidas product over the last 2 weeks. Our Adidas sales over the last 3 weeks are the highest in our history as a percentage of our business, with absolutely no price pressure whatsoever. As a matter of fact, our margins are going up.
Well, yeah, I was going to bring that point up. Sales really have never been a problem with you. It's your margins. And have you gotten costs under control?
Absolutely. Our G&A has been coming down for 6 straight quarters now. Inventories have been coming down. Margins are going up. Sales are going up. So things are looking pretty good for us, and we're not missing any numbers. Every time one of our competitors misses a number, we get hit. So, you know, we're about to announce earnings coming up this week, and we feel very comfortable with those earnings. 2 weeks ago, we announced sales for the second quarter. They were right on line. Comps for the 20th straight quarter were positive, and we're pretty pleased with our business.
All right.
In a difficult environment.
Some of the research I've read suggests, quote, for the quarter, and I'm not sure which quarter it was probably the first quarter. For the quarter, store operating expenses increased 20 basis points, but management's stated goal: reduce advertising as a percentage, leverage effects of opening in existing markets. If successful, this would represent the first quarter of positive stores operating expense leverage since the fourth quarter of '96. Do you anticipate being successful in that manner?
Well, Mark, what we've done, as opposed to our competitors, is put a tremendous infrastructure in place. That infrastructure includes a lot of regional and district management to make sure that during this fast growth that our company is experiencing, we have things in place to make sure that nothing goes wrong. It's worked very well for us. I don't think that our competitors have the same type of infrastructure in place, and what we don't intend to do is look for extra profits at the sake of the excellent performance that we expect out of our stores, and that does take infrastructure.
Mr. Ruttenberg, thank you very much. Appreciate you bringing us up to date on how things are going.
Thank you.
Harold Ruttenberg, CEO at shoe retailer Just for Feet, joined us from the company's headquarters in Birmingham, Alabama. Final thoughts when we come back? Don't go away.
And I'd like to tell you the reason for the meeting today. It's threefold. One is to explain briefly the situation that the company finds itself in today. The other is to explain to you how you can help to get us back on track. And the third reason is to introduce you to our management team that will lead us into our future glory. To start off with, on the situation that we're in today, it's quite simply
a fact of the specialty store division being approximately $100 million overboard. Without going into reasons how this may have happened, the fact of the matter is that we have a task on our hands, and that is to fix the problem and fix the problem quickly. Reports that you may have read in the newspapers have been grossly overestimated and exaggerated, and I wouldn't take too much from that. The fact of the matter is that we do have somewhat of a problem, but we'll get over the problem with your help. I'll try and keep this as short as possible. However, at this time, if ever there was a time that I could ask you to think and to ask yourself, what can you do for this company rather than what can this company do for you, it's at this very minute. I'd like to remind you all and myself why we're here. We're here simply because we have retail stores. Without those retail stores doing major business, we can't survive. Being part of corporate is being like on vacation compared to what the people in our stores go through. I know because I've spent most of my life in those stores. It's hard work. There comes a time when those at corporate need to do their share to help those people in the stores, especially at this time as we go into back to school. This is the busiest time of the year for us, and this is the time that we can fix all our mistakes. There are many of you that come from a store background. You know what I'm talking about. Up until just maybe 2 years ago, there wasn't a person in this building that were not helping us in our stores. During those good times, we went overboard to do whatever we could to help all those folks at corporate. It wasn't so long ago that we never had a day off during the year, excepting for Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day. And even Thanksgiving Day, many of you volunteered to come and help get our stores ready for the big day. During the last couple of years, recommendations as to giving corporate as many holidays as possible off, making packages such as health care and other good things available to everybody. As those recommendations came along, we authorized them immediately, and we do want the very best for everybody. At this time, we can't afford to send all our people out to the stores because we need to save every penny that we possibly can. But I'd like to remind all of you about the days when Doris Sewell was at the front door at the Galleria greeting customers, where every last secretary and every last receptionist in this building were in our stores helping at the cash register or bringing food for those that were slogging it out during the back-to-school hectic period. I ask you now to make yourselves available in the best way possible. We've always encouraged you to bring your families and your friends in to help us during those hectic, busy times. we could make this somewhat of a fun period for us, and at the same time, you will all be proud to be able to say that you helped to not only eliminate our problem, but also to make the company highly, highly successful. What could be better than perhaps hiring a bus and getting that bus going from Birmingham to Montgomery, and then on to Mobile, and then on to New Orleans, and then on to Jackson and Baton Rouge, with truckloads of people from Just for Feet helping. Wouldn't it be somewhat fun to help in New Orleans and then go and have a good time in the fifth quarter during the night? How about a bus going from Birmingham to Huntsville, and then to Nashville, and then to Chattanooga, and another one going to Atlanta? We need your help, and we need you to volunteer that help, and we need you to realize that this company has extreme corporate culture that cannot be lost. It's easy to be a winner when things are going great. Now we face adversity, and the real winners need to show up and show what fighting spirit this company has. There are many that know what I'm talking about, and I'll mention their names in just a minute. The bottom line is we need you, and we need you now. Nick and Scott and myself sat last night and discussed the possibility of having 150 all-night sales on one night. Those that know what an all-night sale, like Janice Dunkling, have just put a big smile on their face because they know what that means. That would mean $9 million more goods going out of the door in one day. Today, this company does more on a Saturday in 1 hour than we used to do in a whole year in business. 1 hour. Our stores will be pumped up if they see you. The company will gain tremendous spirit, and you can play a major part in saying that you helped to make this all happen. At this time, I'm going to ask some of our, in fact, all of our leaders to please step forward so that I can introduce you to them, something that is way overdue, and I actually meant to do a couple of months ago. Helen Rocky, would you please come up? Scott Wynn. Eric Tyra. Nick Cartelis. Chuck Eggers. Chuck Eggers. Don Ruttenberg. Warren Ruttenberg, new president of the Specialty Store Division. Bob Oyster, our new president of the Superstore Division. Doris Sewell. Isaac David. David Meany. These are our leaders that will take us through our current situation as well as into the next century And I would like to remind everybody here that Just for Feet, especially in the Superstore division, is still the best concept out there, is still the leader in this industry, and continues to rapidly take market share. For Eric's, seeing that Eric wasn't here when we started, for his benefit, I will mention again the possibility of having 150 all-night sales in one night, which means $9 million of inventory, extra inventory going out in one day. Before talking any more about our management, I'd like to recognize some people who've been with the company for many, many years. Those people were in the stores with us fighting it out. Those people never missed a day's work. Those people were there at the all-night sales, as were, of course, many of you, parking cars and doing anything that you possibly could to help us. Janice Dunkling, who has now been with the company for 15 years and who once upon a time sat back to back with me in a tiny little office whilst we all sold, answered phones, and did everything and anything that needed to be done. Abe Goodhart, Denise Ress, Julie Pace, who actually, in one way or another, has been with the company for about 20 years. Lee Sajak, Louis Herford, Candy Smith, Harlan Salsa, David Lieberman, Andrea, and I'm sure that there are others that I have not mentioned who know what tremendous heart this company has. This company has always led from the heart, opposed to most other companies that lead from the head. Yes, you need to be smart. But I go with Sam Walton when he says that nothing beats running from the heart. We have always run this company that way, and I urge you to once again start running this company from the heart. I'm going to ask Helen to come up and talk to you all, and I'd like to talk a little bit about Helen. She is one of the most remarkable people that I have ever met. Yesterday, she looked me in the eye and she said, "Harold, I'll do anything for you." And actually speaking, it's the other way around. I would do anything for Helen. I look forward to the day when some terrific articles come out about Helen in Forbes magazine or Fortune magazine or Business Week, where I can contribute and say a few things about the difficult time that she joined the company and what she did with it. She is a tremendous winner. And we are very fortunate and lucky to have such a great leader with us. I would like to just let you all know that we all report to somebody. Every one of us reports to somebody. But everybody in this company works for Helen Rocky today. I want you all to remember that, because she takes over the running of this company from beginning to end. I, together with all of you, will support that effort, and it gives me tremendous pleasure to ask Helen to please come up and address you all.
Thanks, Harold. That's a tremendous introduction. I have a far lower opinion of myself, and in fact, I do have sort of a theory. My theory is that they pay us for our personality defects. And one of the reasons that we're probably all here is that we really like to see things happen and make things happen, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's a bit of a weakness. And I bet all of you have looked up at midnight at that Midnight Madness sale and said, what the heck am I doing here? And so I share with you that intense desire, that intense focus to make things happen. You know, coming from the vendor side of the business, I have worked with retailers around the world. I've worked with large retailers, small retailers, mall-based, freestanding, Japan, Korea, Norway, Germany. But there really is no one who can be what Just for Feet is. Harold calls us the dominant category killer, but really, Just for Feet is in a category all its own. We do footwear. More brands, more styles, better service than anyone in the industry. Our apparel business is strong, it makes good margin, but it is an accessory to footwear. And no one in the industry has that focus. Sneakers are the icon of modern America. Levi's, like Microsoft. The fashion percent of the business comes and goes, like the tide. But the core emotional bond between sneakers and the American population will never die. Today, khakis swing. Tomorrow, sneakers will swing. Rob Strasser, the man behind the concept of Air Jordan, always said, what goes around comes around. It has proven true for many years in this industry. The superstore concept is the jewel of the company and the jewel of the industry. It's the heart of our business. It continues to perform strongly. The specialty store division has struggled, but it is under new leadership and new management. We are driving new concepts into the store to drive business. We have a new energy on the specialty side of the business to really wire into that mall-based consumer and allow the Just for Feet Corporation to broaden its connection with consumers from teenage hero, male worship, 17-year-old consumer to the family, 50, 60-year-old, and all the kids that fall in between. I am very proud of what both Bob and Warren are going to bring to those divisions. Yes, we have a challenge, but we are well underway to dealing with this challenge. It astounds us sometimes to read in the press last week, to get the calls that we've gotten this week. Oh, we hear you're in trouble. Oh, that there are problems. We saw this problem in the 1st of May. We identified a plan in the middle of May, and we have been executing for the last 4 weeks, bringing inventory from the specialty division into the superstores to put in the combat zones, to sell it like no other retailer can sell it. This is new inventory. This is fresh goods. Inventory is like fish. If it sits around too long, it's bad news. This stuff is brand new, it's paid for, and we are moving into back to school, the single biggest selling season with the best retailer in the country. I really am confident that we will solve this problem by the end of October, Q3, and in fact, I sort of consider it already solved. We are well on our way. As I mentioned, our goal is to have the inventories back in line by the end of October. As I said, we are confident. We have adjusted our margin forecast to reflect this. And I guess I'll just summarize that project by saying that inventory reduction is never easy, but it is fairly simple. It isn't rocket science, and thank goodness for that. We will continue to focus on the Superstore division and the specialty division and look for opportunities to strengthen our brand and our market position as we move into the year 2000. You are the management team of the millennium. No one understands or has the ability to execute the Just for Feet concept. Selection, from aerobics to accessories, from cleats to cross-training, we can be a showcase retailer for the biggest brands of the world better than they can. They budget their showcase stores to lose money. We know how to make money. Customer service, the ability to give the consumer the right shoe for them. Could be $150, could be $50, could be a wide foot, could be a narrow foot. The right shoe for you, because there sure is a lot of choice out there, and no one gives the customer more choices than we do. Excitement, in-store activities, athletes, the presentation of product like nobody else can do it. And of course, advertising. That ability to tell people what is happening, where is happening, and drive them into the store. I'm really proud to be part of this team. I'm really excited about what we can create. I have a vision for what this brand can be that I almost can't put into words. And I think the reason I can't put it into words is because the answer is really in your head. You know the business better than I do. You have the elements, the answers, and the success stories that are going to be part of our future. I hope you will share that with me and help us all make it happen. Thanks. You have to announce it. You have to, because I don't know it.
To honor two long-standing employees in the company, we would like to rename the Montgomery Room and the Robinson Humphrey Room, who are no longer really basically in business, as the Janice Dunkling Room and the Julie Pace Room. As you saw from Helen's words to you, there's a saying, cometh the hour, cometh the man. There you see her, and she is dynamic. One last thing, and that is, Sam Walton always said that the harder you work, the luckier you get. Give us everything that you've got now. Send Nick Cartelis, those of you that want to help, send Nick Cartelis your emails. Nick, I urge you to get together with some of our old people so that you can work out a game plan as to how all our folks can participate in helping us to become a greater company, a better company, and also to get through our immediate situation. Thank you very much, everybody.